Hey, what's up, guys? This is AJ, and today we are gonna talk about coral reefs. As I said you earlier, that it needs special attention. So, if you are studying for environment and ecology for CSE examination, then you must focus on coral reefs also. So, the basic question is that who builds the coral reefs? Okay, so builders of the coral reefs are tiny animals called polyps. Okay, so there is a misconception about coral reefs that these are plants, which is wrong. These are not plants, but uh, these are built by the animals called polyps. Okay, they are micro animals. Okay, micro. So as the as these polyps thrives, grow, then die, they leave their limestone skeleton behind. Then the limestone skeleton is used for residential purposes by the new polyps. Okay, so in this way they make colony out of their dead peoples, dead animals. Okay, and then uh, ultimately they came to known as a coral reefs. Okay, then this coral has a symbiotic relationship to zooxanthellae, which is a microscopic algae. Okay, so it is like shaiwal that we know. So this shaiwal grows above the coral reefs. This algae assist coral in nutrient production through its photosynthesis activity. Okay, so the color of the coral reefs, which if you see, then you will find there are different colors on coral reefs: red, blue, yellow, like this. These colors are made by this algae. Okay, then the coral provides what is the purpose of that algae staying on the coral reef. Okay, so he must be getting something from coral reef. Okay, so what he gets is the coral provides it a steady supply of carbon. Okay, and this steady supply means he gets his food and he gets a proper environment uh, to live his life. So they live in a this they live uh, by maintaining their symbiotic relationship. Then there is some more knowledge about the coral reefs. There are more number of cold water coral reefs than tropical or hot water corals. Okay, so they again there is a misconception that coral water reefs, corals are present more in a temperate zone or more in a tropic zone. That is wrong. There are more number of coral reefs in cold water. Okay, then the largest cold water coral reef is in the Roast Reef of Norway. Okay, then in Norway country you will find the largest reef of cold water coral reef. Okay, then what about their niche? So if you want to know the meaning of niche, then you have to see the first lecture of environment and ecology. Okay, which is available in my channel. Then the coral reef lives in a shallow water, which is clean and warm. Okay, so to grow the coral reefs, they need particular environment. The environment means their niche, and they need clear and clean water, and this must be they must live in a shallow water so that they get ambient sunlight. Okay, then they roughly cover 19,000 square kilometer area of India. So in this way you have to see that India has a large proportion of coral reefs among the world. Okay, so their importance, most important thing about coral reefs is that they provide shelter and living environment for more than 25% of the sea population. Okay, so this signifies the importance of coral reefs and why we must study about the coral reefs. But basic question is again, why we are studying in the our syllabus, why it is included in our syllabus. So these are some points that I have discussed earlier, that 25% of population of sea or marine ecosystem lives in a coral reefs. Okay, so obviously it affects the human business and life. Okay, so adverse effect on these coral reefs can cause harm to our own ecosystem. Okay, and other many reasons like economic reasons, social and cultural reasons are also there. So like we have cleared that why we have to study the subject, but we have to specify the manner in which we have to study. Okay, so we are basically studying it for the purpose of preliminary examination. Okay, so in that sense we have to focus on following points like what is the job of coral reefs, then who is harming them, then what are their different types, then their location in India, and what are the measures to protect them. Okay, we will see these one by one. Okay, so first of all, the job of the coral reef. See, we know that nothing in the universe is without the cause. Though they have they are in small in size, or you may find it useless. Okay, but that is not the thing. They are very useful to our environment. Okay, how they are useful to our environment is that they protect coastlines from the damaging effect of the wave action and tropical storms. Okay, so they act as a barrier between the wave action and tropical storms. They protect our beaches. Okay, so then they provide habitats and shelter for many marine organisms. Like we have seen earlier that about 25% of the uh, total marine life depends upon the coral reefs. It is a huge proportion. Then they are the source of nitrogen and other essential nutrition for the marine food chain. Okay, for marine food chain we need nitrogen as well as carbon dioxide and as well as many other things. So these coral reefs provides them these nutrients. Okay, then they assist in carbon and nitrogen fixing. Okay, so if there is a excess amount of carbon and if there is an excess amount of nitrogen, then these coral reefs absorb this. Okay, and then they help with nutrition recycling. Obviously there, though they they live in a poor nutrition environment, uh, there they have a specific ability to recycle or to regenerate the scarce nutrition. Okay, so due to this they are very important for us. Then there are some economic and social importance, like various businesses of humans depends upon them. The first of all is fishing. Then fishing provides 17 million people their food. Okay, so it is very important, and these fishes grow in this near the coral reefs. They need coral reefs for their growth, for their life. So if you destroy the coral reefs, you will ultimately destroy the fish, and ultimately it result in a human hunger. Okay, and the social importance, they provide the business for the local people. Okay, the business of tourists and to then there is a various types of business, like if you see in Goa, then you will find the beaches are famous for their scuba diving purpose. The scuba diving mostly done in a coral reef. Okay, so they are very essential for our human business. Then who is harming them? Then the question is, who is harming them? See, global warming. So you have to, if you want to learn more about the global warming, then You can see the second lecture of environment and ecology, which is available on my channel. Okay, then there is over exploitation, violent storms, flooding, and many more other causes which harms the coral reefs. If you learn the global warming, then you will find that the global warming causes all these things, like violent storms, flooding. So if flood comes, then it you know reduces the sea level, and so uh, we must consider this point while writing this, or while solving objective problem. So then the coral bleaching happens due to all these things. See, the coral bleaching happens due to the excessive temperature. The they For the fulfillment, or for the proper growth of the coral reef, so they require some particular range of temperature. If the temperature exceeds the particular limit, then it results in a coral bleaching. What happens in coral bleaching is that the micro microscopic algae which resides over the coral reefs starts you know becomes dead, and their photosynthesis ability stops. So ultimately, you know the cycle, or the relation between symbiotic relation between the microscopic algae and the coral reef stops, so it results in a coral bleaching. So in short, they stop their working. It's like factory becomes closed because we are not supplying the raw material. Some sort of things happens, and this is not good for environment. Then in summer months also the temperature rises, so coral bleaching happens. So obviously their cycle stops, their production stops, and so many people resides, so many animals resides above for the product on the production of their mutual subordinating relationship, that they get less amount of foods, so obviously their population degrades. Then sea level dropping in a sea level, or upliftment of the land by the tectonic plates, this also results in a coral bleaching. Then storms with rains, these coral reefs can't live in a fresh water, they need marine water. So if the storms come with rain, and if the rain water they if the rainwater, the coral reefs, if they get rainwater, then obviously their production stops and results in coral bleaching. The high nutrition in water, see, the coral reefs produce their own nutrition like nitrogen and carbon dioxide, and also they absorb the excess amount of nutrition, but they have their own limit. If the nutrition in water is more than their capacity, then also the coral bleaching happens, and ultimately results in a stop less amount of production. So the further cycle continues, like we have discussed earlier. Then which type of nutrition? See, ammonia and nitrate. We know that we are using ammonia and nitrate in excess amount as a fertilizer. So if this fertilizer, and due to deforestation, soil erosion happens, so this soil this soil uh, gets drawn to the sea water, and they depose their excessive ammonia and nitrate in the sea water, ultimately resulting in a coral bleaching. So excessive amount of use of fertilization also result in a coral bleaching, and there are various other their own diseases which cause coral bleaching. Then what are their types? See, there are three main type of coral reefs. These are fringing reefs, barrier reefs, atolls. Okay, and there is one more type called as a patch reefs. See, fringing reefs are reefs that grow directly from the shore. So if you see the coral reef near the shore, then it is called as a fringing reef. Then there is a barrier reef, which is extensive linear reef complexes that parallel a shore and are separated from it by lagoon. You will see the image of barrier reef in a upcoming slide, and at the time you will clear the idea about the barrier reefs. Then there is atoll, which is a reef in a circular shape, and there is a patch reef, which is commonly used to represent comparatively small isolated outcrops of coral surrounded by sand and or seagrass. Okay, so these things you will be cleared in upcoming slides when you will see the actual picture or image of this reef. See, this is the image of fringing reefs. As you can see that this is near the shore, and so if you see these types of structure near the shore, then you will have to say it as a fringing reef. Then there is a barrier reef. See, you will see this barrier reef here. So, and this is a land which is in between. There is a lagoon. Lagoon means the water between the reef and land. We called it as a lagoon. There is no special type of water, just we called it as a lagoon. So you can see that it acts as a barrier to the land. Okay, so if any wave come from this side, then it has to first fight with this barrier reef. Okay, so you will see this, so that's why we called it as a barrier reef. And there is in between it is we see the lagoon. Then the atolls you will see in this figure that see, it is in a circular shape. The reef is in a circular shape, so we called it as a atoll. Okay, then there is a patch reefs. See, these reefs are of various shapes, but comparatively small in size, so and which are not properly connected with each other, so we called it as a patch reefs. That's it. Then their location in India. See, the location of barrier reefs presents in a 4 location in India. Okay, so these are like Gulf of Kutch, where you will find the fringing reefs. Most of the time you will find fringing reef in India. Only the Lakshadweep bait of the island of the India has atoll reefs, and everywhere other you will find the fringing reefs. You will find the fringing reefs in Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Mannar, Andaman Nicobar Islands. Okay, and only in Lakshadweep you will find atoll reefs. See, then again the question is, does anyone do research on it? Yes, the answer is yes. The major institution involved in some level of research of coral reefs and problems related to management and monitoring are Department of Ocean Development, Government of India, the Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, the Zoological Survey of India. Okay, then Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, at Madurai, then uh, Annamalai University, then you will find Center for Earth Studies, Trivandrum, then Institute for Ocean Management, Madras, then National Institute of Oceanography, uh, Goa, and the Worldwide Fund for Nature, India. Okay, so these are some institute which do research in the coral reefs. Okay, then who provides jurisdiction in that area? See, the coral reefs of India come under the jurisdiction of the Department of Forests and Wildlife, and it is their responsibility to monitor, manage, and conserve these fragile ecosystem. So if you are opting for Indian Forest Services, then you will be able to provide the jurisdiction in coral reefs area. Okay, then the Ministry of Environment and Forests is responsible to develop the action plan to manage the reef resources and issue guidelines for the sustainability utilization of coral reefs. Okay, so anything which is related to monitoring of the coral reefs or developing an action plan for the coral reefs comes under the Ministry of Environment and Forest. Okay, so who is the Minister of Environment and Forest and Climate Change? Mr. Prakash Javadekar, which is the current Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So anything related to coral reefs, you have to notify it to the Mr. Prakash Javadekar. Then the final conclusion. See, coral reef research in India is still at a preliminary stage and has not yet gone mainstream. So the purpose of this statement is to notify that we are not serious about the coral reef research. Okay, then there is a little information available on the coral reef ecosystem as a whole, or on the relationship between human economy and the ecological resource of coral reefs. This makes development of realistic management plans for coral reefs areas involving local community participation especially difficult. So we don't know how exactly the coral reefs are economically related with our environment. Okay, so we are facing difficulties in monitoring or in developing an action plan for coral reefs. Then there is the main problem is that each institute we have seen earlier has its own research agenda and the special focus. So the problem is that they are not collaborating with each other. They are not deciding a specific topic to research on. So ultimately the result is that we don't know whose research to follow, and there is no solid research going on. Then what is the solution for this? The solution for this is to establish a special institution to serve the purpose of coral reef research. Okay, so establishing a special research which will focus only on coral reefs. So we have to follow the Australian model of this. Australia has established the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, which only focus on the research on coral reefs. So we have to follow the Australian model in the subject of coral reefs, and we have to focus on the coral reefs because 25% of the marine population depends on the coral reefs, and which is a huge proportion. So we must focus on the coral reefs. So that's why the UPSC syllabus has included topic of coral reefs in it. So what will be the questions on the preliminary examination on this topic is that see, you will mostly find the location based question on the coral reefs. Then you will find the if you asked in general studies paper, you can use all these points to complete your answer. So in a way, this topic is important for civil service examination. And that's it. Thanks guys for watching this video, and I will meet you guys in my next video. Peace.